Uh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to River City 93, your number one podcast for all things Richmond Kickers. I'm your host, as always, Elliot Barton. Is joining me is Mr. Matt Myers. How are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good.
It feels good. It feels like a weight has been lifted off our proverbial shoulders. It's almost like when you're on the squat rack and you go down to a lower weight, and you're like, all right, I can do this.
Yeah, minus our legs aren't burning to death.
That is true. That is very true. Yeah, man. First of all, big ups to the team on getting the 2-1 win over Union Omaha. But it does feel like a weight has been lifted off of this team's shoulders. Like, I compare this to the Union Omaha game, and I know it's midweek, the U.S. Open coming against Columbus Crew. But even go back to look at the Spokane game. Like, it felt like this team was playing with a piano on his back offensively. And in this game, even though they didn't have high possession, they just looked in more control of the game. And some of that might be down to how Union Omaha played. But the kickers, like, to me, it felt like their best first half and second half of the season thus far.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's perfectly fair and reasonable. I think there's a couple, clear, reasons of why that happened that you can be able to, get through. A busy week, a lot, plenty to talk about, but yeah, it said it's also one game. There's blips everywhere, so we'll take it, but there's hopefully something to build upon as well.
Yes, very much so. So before we get started, as always, listen, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We are at 120 subscribers on YouTube. Roughly now, there's like, I want to say maybe 10 or 15 people who are subscribed who are watching the video. So if you 10 or 15 people can't find any hearts to subscribe, it's free. That would greatly help us. But Matt, let's go ahead. Let's go back kind of to the time last week. Talk about the U.S. Open Cup defeat to Columbus Crew. What was your overall thoughts about it? And yeah.
I mean, going to that game, that's a house money game, right? There's no expectation that the team gets something out of that. That's if it goes well, great, good on you. But no reasonable, rational person you can say, "Oh, you got to get a result out of this one, today." So I think they went for it. They put probably, I guess the best way to put it is best available lineup, out there, and then. I think when Darren started making the subs, some people might look at it as kind of raising the white flag a little bit, but I think it was smart, knowing when you've lost it, you know when to fold the crappy hand, at the poker table, and save some legs, for Saturday, which it's hard to say that it's the wrong call.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. I obviously had a different reaction to this game. Let me preface this by saying I didn't expect us to beat Columbus Crew. I'm not delusional or nothing, right? Like, we're talking about a Columbus Crew who's what, a year or two removed from an MLS Cup title?
Something like that, yeah.
Sure. Right? We're talking about like probably one of the best academies in the USL. So I knew this was going to be a tough game. My overall frustration just came from one, it didn't feel like Darren was willing to risk it. And I go back and look at like what was it, 2022 against Charlotte FC? Even though we lost that game 5-1, or what was it, 5-1 or 5-2? What are the scores? Whatever. But like, we all talk about that game, one, because of Zaka's goal, right? And even though Charlotte pulled away, because of the talent difference and everything like that. We still talk about it because this team went forward. Even DC United, even though I wasn't there for it, and the only way you could watch that game was listening on the radio, this team went for it there. In this game, it didn't feel as if Darren was willing to risk it. Now, in the first half, you had that goal mouth scramble in the 7th minute. And then after that, it just didn't feel as if like they were willing to go for it. And I say that because only 9 touches in the box. Probably that was the only real shot on target after that. And it just felt as if like, hey, like Columbus Crew is kind of reeling. And even though they scored the 41st minute, coming out in the second half, it just once again felt again, it was kind of just like, all right, well, they're up a goal. Let's pack this in and play it safe. And I just wish I would have seen more of that. Hey, let's go for it. Even if we lose 4-0 or 3-0 or 4-1, we're going for it. And I just didn't see that out of that game on Wednesday.
I don't think that's fair, because
Okay.
that first 10 or 15 minutes, it was at worst even, during that time. Yeah. And any kind of cup game that you watch where it's, the smaller team against the bigger team, that, the smaller team, they're going to get, a chance or maybe two, but it's going to be that. It's going to be a chance. And we saw that chance early on. Sam was able to get that, header, and that was going in if it wasn't for a really good, goal line, clearance by one of the defenders. Right. And then not only that, on the scramble to get it cleared out, the ball, pops back out, and Luka gets a one-on-one, opportunity that the keeper makes, kind of good smothering save on. So that's two pretty, decent, if not good chances right then and there. And I think that's the kind of thing where if you're going to hope to spring an upset, you've got to capitalize. You have to take advantage of that in that moment, because you don't know if there's going to be another one coming. And it turned out there wasn't, but as the half went along, you saw the class of the Columbus player start to come out. They had some big names like Daniel Gazdag was a DP in MLS. He might still technically be. I mean, hasn't worked out for him in Columbus the same way it did in Philly, but this is a dude that has caps for Hungary. They've got a guy who the guy out on the wing, their Armenian dude. They signed him from Karabag, which made the knockout round to the Champions League just now, and he was actually playing for them. In that competition, scoring goals for them. They've got I think the keeper's like Guatemala's keeper or something like that. He's their backup. They've a couple of the other defenders were at least guys I recognized from MLS. So it wasn't like they were rolling out a complete next pro team. They had one or two of those guys sprinkled in, but you can see throughout the game they had tighter touches, like where the kickers might need 2 or 3 touches to be able to work themselves out of a spot. The crew guys could do that in 1 touch or maybe 2 touches, to get out of that same situation. They're bigger. They're physically looked stronger. They're quicker. So I think throughout that first half, they had their chances, but you don't just go with reckless abandon, because we almost made it all the way to halftime. There, and I really believe that if the team had been able to make it to halftime, they could be able to regroup. They could be able to, make any kind of adjustments, just get some rest, and then be able to kind of assess what happens in the second half. Giving up that goal late, like 41st minute, I think it was, I felt it was kind of deflating, all around, because
especially in the manner of which it happened as well.
Yeah,
because it was like, I think it was Panos, who we're going to talk about later. Just lost his man on a set piece. Well, I don't even know lost his man. I think he just got outpaced to that post.
Yeah, so it's just, there's a little kind of blip, and what otherwise was a really solid half. Like Jan made a couple good saves to be able to help the guys out, but they're staying disciplined. They were staying kind of rock solid. A lot of the stuff we'd seen in league play, minus Spokane, and I think it served them well. So no, I don't think they didn't not show up, not go for it. I think they were playing sensible, and then by the time it came to need to go for it, it didn't make sense to go for it anymore.
Yeah.
Knowing that you had a big game coming up on Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, really, after what was it, the second goal by Hugo? I don't know, man. I feel like after the second goal with Hugo, maybe you give it like another 6-7 minutes. It was just maybe just the lack of attacking that might have just frustrated. And this is also compounded with the Spokane game, which is a different set of circumstances, right? Because we knew walking into that game, like it was a who's who of who's available, who's not on the injury, bench at this point. And I think one of the big positives out of this game was Sam Layton. He started and came back in this game much quicker than what we thought it was, because I think he was originally ruled out to be out for a month, right?
I don't think anybody ever actually said anything.
Okay. I know Vinberg is out for a while, but I mean, it was good to see Sam back. And you can tell, like, the defense looked a lot cleaner with him in that back line, and he can stuff out, things change. But yeah, I mean, Matt, but overall, how do you feel about this cup run? Like, it's been a while since we had a decent cup run, but I mean, how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the whole picture of it, I think it's very much a net positive all around. Like, cup runs are good, and being able to get that, energy. They got 5,000 people out there on a Wednesday night against. It's a good MLS club, but let's be real, the Crew are not necessarily like a glamour club, by any means. Like, where people are going to be like, it's not like we're playing Miami or the LA teams or DC or in DC only because of where we are. Where it's like auto draws, like it's Columbus, it's Ohio, like okay. But
fair enough, I wasn't at the game Wednesday, but I know there was a fair amount of Columbus Crew fans out there. Now they're from Ohio, probably not. Like, they're probably transplants or whatnot, but even still, like, these games mean more when you have away fans coming to them.
Yeah, so I think they got them out on 2 weeks' notice. That's great. Got a nice late winner against Loudoun. I think that's going to be kind of one of those moments we look back at the end of the year. It's kind of like a, hey, remember that? That was cool. Kind of situations. So yeah, anytime you make it, when you're a club like the Kickers, anytime you can make it to a round where you get to play MLS competition, I don't think you can call the cup run anything other than a success.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one thing Darren and his tenure can hang his hat on is that in the 6 years that he's been here, 50% of those. Is this year 7? Wait. Oh my God! Yeah, I was doing the math wrong. Yeah, year 7. Well, I was about to give him 50%, almost 50% of those, and ended the cup run against MLS competition. So,
well, it's more than that because 2020, 2021, there's no Open Cup that year. Those years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God, I forgot all about that. There was no Open Cup those years. So yeah, 2022 was Charlotte.
23 DC.
Yeah, 23 was DC. 24 25.
25, don't worry about it. 26, Columbus.
Yep, there you go. So yeah, more of those. So yeah, hey, he's doing a lot better than what I thought. There you go. I forgot about 20 and 21. Wow. Matter of fact, about 21, I still have. You remember the team we used to hand out those magnets that have like the full schedule on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have the 2021 still up on my fridge, and I just looked at it. First game of that year was a Hendy Derby against Fort Madison, March 28th. And I'm like, man, if how that game would have been if COVID never shut down that whole entire world and changed everything. But yeah, yeah, so US Open comes out the way. We can close the chapter on that. Now we can put our attention back onto the league, and we play Union Omaha, which, by the way, I want to say, I don't know exactly who created the two-hand poll, about the whooooo, but that was perfect. Like that was a good two pole.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good.
I think that was good. I think the alternative, I'm not sure if it's better, but Omaha ha ha.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one. That was a good one. But yeah, I mean, overall, Matt, like it felt like in this game, we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Omaha, who's top of the table. This is the team, and I will give you full credit for the stat that you brought up about this is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Omaha team that has never beaten us in City Stadium, right? And like, I mean, there's a bunch of storylines. You had Aiden Bill Hart returning to City Stadium. You have Vicente coming back to go against his mentor and Darren Sawaski. Like, this is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Team who's top of the table, kind of like flying. And this is a Richmond team who's struggling to find their footing in the league and everything like that. And to be honest with you, Matt, like I said earlier, like it felt like this was one of the best performances, or not one of. This is the best performance I've seen out of this kicker team so far this season.
Yeah, I think it was. I won't go so far as to say it was like a complete performance. I think there's still a lot of room, for them to be able to grow and improve. But they definitely showed things. Let's be real. When we say they showed some things, there's a concentrated attack at times because the defense had been perfectly good, for most of the season. Like that hadn't been the issue. It had just been that it was all defense all the time before. And,
it was just the attack was lacking.
Lacking might even be giving it credit. Right,
a different
like we weren't seeing just slavish long ball over the top and let Kirkland try to chase the whole time. There seemed to be intentionality, and I think the biggest change is what the return of Neil Seufert has brought to the midfield. He's somebody who can actually hold the ball, be able to turn the ball, locate a pass, and it sounds so stupid and so basic. It's like, oh yeah, soccer player, you can pass the ball. Yeah, that's probably good. Yeah, it is good. It is helpful. Just having somebody with that composure.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his stats right now. He had 5 passes into the final third, 44 total touches. So I mean that's something that was big that we've talked about before. It's something that was missing from this kicker team is just someone who could get in the ball and just play like that simple pass, right? Those line breaking passes, and he can do that. And you saw the benefits of it. And let me stop right here because I also want to talk about Ali. He, in my opinion, I know they put who they chose as the MVP. They chose someone. I think it might have been Panos, maybe, but it was that, of course. But for real, it should have been Ali. And I would encourage everyone, like, if you want to see what this team has been missing, go back and watch this game and just watch Ali specifically in this game. Like, he does such a good job of being like a one-man sweeper, right? Where he's not afraid to get stuck into a challenge. And he can still be on the ball and just play like the simple pass forward. Like it is not like an amazing ball where it's like cutting lines or breaking Yu-Gi-Oh! Omaha players or anything like that. But it's just like these simple balls that just progress the ball, right? Even if it's side to side or frontwards or backwards, he just gets on the ball and just plays it. Like, I'm going to play a 5-yard ball here. I'm going to, I'll get a position. I'm going to play a 3-yard ball here. I'm going to play this 6-yard pass here. And he does this just constantly over and over again. And this is like Darren can hang his hat on Ali being a successful signing so far. Like, that man just popped up at a tryout. Whoever recommended him to come to Richmond Kickers, thank you. Because this is what this team is missing.
I don't think it was even tryout, because when we talked to him on that last episode, coach of the final whistle, we asked him, like, how did you find this guy? And it was a contact he had from like his old Sounders days, who's I think he's the coach at Sac State now, and recommended him over.
Yeah. Like, I'll just read out his stat line and just some of the big things. In attack, he had 8 passes into the final third, 4 or 5. He was 80% of his long balls, He only got dispossessed 2 times, but then he had 4 tackles, 2 clearances, and won 64% of his ground duels and was 50% of his aerial duels. Like, and also I know you can read this a lot of ways, but for him to be a center defensive mid and have 2 fouls and not get carded, bravo, man. Like, it was a complete performance for him. Like, what he did in that center defensive mid spot was so key to this game because once again, he was able to be a sweeper. So it freed up Niels from having to put so much onus on him being defensively. And Niels worked best when he can get into these little pockets and just turn and just play simple passes into the path of Darwin or Panhoes or Kirkland, right?
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. Like they complement each other's games well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, even Amir, Austin Amir. Like, now, I know Kate has her thoughts on Austin, but he even had like a pretty good game. He didn't do anything prolific.
No. O'Malley's her boy.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, right. O'Malley is her boy. But I mean, he didn't do anything prolific in this game, but he didn't have to, right? Like, Ollie is starting to show, like, if he can just, kind of keep this form going, it's going to go back to like how it was when Zaka was in his prime, which is being like a one midfield sweeper to clean up everything and allow the attack to get forward and allow your center attack mid not to get stuck into the defensive actions and do what they do best.
Oh, I think if he keeps up at this pace, he's not here next year.
Well, this is also true. Hopefully, we're making a good little transfer fee on it and keeping it going. But I say it all to say, like, you go look at the first goal, and I just mentioned this earlier. Like, it's a simple pass that he makes to Darwin. Now, granted, he gets an assist for it, but it's Darwin who really does the more magical part and puts this in the left top corner, which is, if Darwin ain't gonna do nothing else, he gonna score a goal from outside the box.
Yeah,
he did it again.
Look, we all got our things. Darwin loves launching a long ball into the net. Like,
yeah,
fits well with the team if you kind of think about it. Defenders love launching long balls. Darwin loves launching a long ball. Different types.
It's the trend. It is the trend. It is the trend. And I mean, look, if that's Nuhu, maybe it's a little bit different, but it also was such a well struck goal. Like, the Yu Mall, the goalkeeper didn't even react to it. I don't know if he was expecting it or not, but he didn't even react to it just because of the trajectory from it. But yeah, I mean, I can't stop praising Ollie enough just because of those little things like that. They just kept the offense going. It's just simple things.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that this gets Darwin going because we've seen, like, he does not look like he's, or at least he had not looked like he'd been 100% so far this year. It looked like he was, trying to, brave face fight through the injuries because somebody has to, and do it. But he looked slower. I mean, he was never a fast guy to begin with, but he looked a little bit, slower earlier on, and being able to see him get going. Last year, it took him a few games before he got his first goal, and then he started banging them in pretty consistently until that injury came. So hopefully this gets the cycle going again.
Yeah, no, for real. I hope so. Like, I hope that this is the kind of thing that gets him back in the form. And I mean, also, like, I think another thing will help is maybe adjusting how you use Darwin. Maybe it's not him directly out on the wing and beating someone 1v1. But I think, like, he was most effective of, like, when he cut inside and him just getting him on the ball, right? And, like, getting him touches. I think in this game, what he had, let me see, how many touches did he have? I'm trying to see. Regardless of it, I just think, like, you getting him your best player on the ball is always going to get. Oh, he had 47 touches. There you go. He had 47 total touches in the game. And I think, like, getting him on the ball does great things for you.
And we've seen, Darren's had a tendency recently dropping Darwin into that attacking midfield position once the substitutions, start coming along. Niels is seems not 90 minutes fit yet. So Darwin kind of inherits that role at a certain point. You put Landon or apparently even Beckett, up, at that wing position, and Darwin kind of slide into the hole a little bit and do his possession thing. There to, in this case, work on killing the game off.
Yeah, I don't know if you were picking up on this trend at the game at all, and I was noticing up there in the press box. I asked Hayden about it in the post game show because it just seemed as if they were really like using him as the pressing trigger. Right, it was like anytime the ball got close to Hayden, and Hayden didn't have the best first half. He had a ball that got rolled underneath his foot to go out of bounds. He got pressed into a couple of mistakes. I know they were trying to utilize him to play the ball down inside, but it just felt as if like Union was really like going after him to make like a point. Like, hey, we're going to get something out of the side. And credit to him, he kind of played through it, got better. But did you notice that at all with Hayden?
I mean, I think you're killing him a little bit heavy with this. Like, okay, yeah, had like
might be fair enough.
Bad,
the way
maybe he had a bad 30 seconds there, but like, when did he actually get beat on the field for anything? Like, he was taking care of business out there, pretty much the entire time, key blocks, like
I think
I'm not too worried about if a stray, pass out of bounds, something like that. If you can actually be able to, kind of, face up, man up, guys out on the wing.
I think there might have been like maybe one or two times Foz or the number 11 for Union might have got the better of him, but he recovered quickly, got back into it. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. It was just like, and I don't know, maybe he was already thinking about the next move before the move actually happened, but just to see that ball go underneath his foot, where we're kind of like in this sense of, all right, we're trying to put our foot on the game. We're trying to, because we know how Union Omaha is. This is a team that loves to hit quick. They flood numbers. They send numbers forward. And it just felt like, all right, I need you to kind of get on the ball and kind of, help out with these actions and whatnot. But, yeah. The goal that we gave up, though, I mean, as much as I was praising Ali, I'm still struggling with it, Matt. Is it fair to blame Ali on this? Or is it fair to say, like, the Kickers should have also done better with getting rid of this ball on the set piece?
I think it's a yes and. Like,
okay. I can see
that. We know USL cameras are not the highest of quality. Yeah, so it takes a little bit of kind of piecemeal rewatching replays to make a good estimate of. It looks like that might have been happening here. That could have been this. So it looks like it might have been Ali who lost Coleman on his run. But like you said, the ball got flicked in and along before it's basically a tap in at the end there. Frustrating. I think it's probably a little bit more of a team goal than an individual goal mistake. I mean, nothing Jan can do unless he just got dumb luck in there.
I mean, he's gotten dumb luck before.
No, he's got skilled luck. This would have been dumb luck.
Right. Right. But I mean, I think it's fair to say like the Kickers walk out of this game. I mean, walk away from this half like feeling slightly positive. There's still like room to get better in, right? But I think like if you would have just judged that first half, I think the Kickers probably walk away from it like, all right, there's still a second half for us to play for, but we can walk away from it knowing that what we are doing is being executed and it's working. It is also what you want is for it to frustrate Union Omaha, right? And that's what was doing well because, hindsight is 2020, but it didn't feel like Jan was under massive pressure from Union Omaha. He was under a barrage of shots. And it felt like the defense was doing well. Ali was definitely doing well. So it felt like the second half there was there to be played for. And I love that the way how the kickers started this half. And part of that is also what leads to the second goal is Tyreek kind of cut it in, playing in Darwin, and then him not just staying back and be like, okay, cool, Darwin has it, but him actually following up the shot. And then because of Union Omaha inability to clear that ball, which I still don't understand. How did Union Omaha not clear it?
I don't care.
But him not clearing it leads to us, Tyreek getting his second goal as back-to-back games.
Yeah, so we kind of sped ahead a little bit there. I mean, going at halftime, it felt very similar to the Open Cup game. We start with a fast blitz. This time we got a goal. Kind of let in, a goal. I'm not anywhere near as late on, but later on, off of a low cross from the right side where found its way through for a tap in essentially. As the half went on, felt like the opposition gained more and more of the possession. So it definitely had some similar vibes. Omaha's nowhere near as good as Columbus, so what didn't feel like it was going to be just an impossible task to get past. But there are trends. But like you said, the team came out hot in the second half as well, and got rewarded with that somewhat early goal.
As you say this all the time about like you make your own luck.
Mm-hmm.
And the kickers did that multiple times in the game. And you create your own luck based on how you play. And I just and I think this is why I had a reaction back to it, just to go back to it, because of how this team came out and set the momentum. Like I even made a note of it in my notes about this kickers team came out and they looked aggressive. Not just look, they played aggressive, right? Like the front two of Soyford and Kirkland were pressing high, but also with that, you had, the midfield four who kind of made this. It was a 4-1-3-2. I noted it when it was off the ball, but everyone just stepped up, and I asked Darren this in the press game. Which, can I just say this? In a press game, in a press conference, where you're the only one asking questions, it can get very awkward very quick. When you ask a question and the person responds with yes, it just death stares at you. You're like, okay, that was a stupid question. But yeah,
That's funny.
It was. I was just like, oh, that's not a question Darren likes. Might not want to ask that one again.
Or it means you ask it again until you get the answer that it merits.
You're right. But what I'm just trying to say is just that the way how the kickers went about this game needs to be the mentality going forward. Win, lose, or draw, right? I think some of the things that were frustrating to fans and to us all was just how this team was playing, because we know what this team can be, but we were limited by granted injuries. But it just felt like Darren did have the handbrake on as well. Is that fair to say?
I think what was frustrating was we weren't sure that this is what this team could be yet. Like we hadn't seen any empirical evidence, showcasing that there's anything to the attack other than kick the ball far and hope, Kirkland or Dorado is able to chase it down first.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I think, the most frustrating piece of it all. Like, it didn't feel like they were ideas. There was no sign, of attacking life, essentially.
Yeah.
So being able to see some intentionality, some, on one of the corner kicks, it looked like there was, a very clear designed play to, try to, open up, some space on there where, half the guys, abandoned the area while some new guys, came through. It's like, oh, haven't seen that, previously. That, it didn't end up working, but it was something in there.
Yeah.
We saw some shots. We saw, more conservative pressing. Like, Kirkland made, you make a pretty good argument. Should have, had a goal there when he,
Oh
just picked off that back
my
pass.
God. Yes.
Tough angle, but
But the thing is, okay, I don't know who should feel more embarrassed, the Yu-Gi-Oh ball player or Kirkland.
yes,
But it happened in slow-mo. Like, it happened so slow, and I was just like, did he really just make that pass? And the thing was, there was no reaction to it from either side outside of Kirkland.
I mean, why would you ever expect that situation never happen in the first place? Like, yeah, probably in the perfect world, Kirkland should have tried to lay that off for somebody, tap into an open net, but for good reason, there's nobody there.
Yeah, no, not at all. Like, I was just like, oh, he really just made this back pass and whatnot. Now, I think the other talking point that we kind of walk away this game before we wrap it up was the amount of extra time in this game, 17 minutes total. I understand in the first half. Second half, I was even struggling. I was saying maybe 6, 7, but 10?
Yeah. Not sure where the 10 came from. I was guessing about 7 because there were a bunch of subs. Yeah. There's the goal. So I feel like the default's probably 4 or 5 minutes for second half stoppage. Just like any referee, just auto goes to there. I guess maybe there was like an injury in there, but yeah, I don't know how we got to 10. The first half made sense because that one dude like died on the field twice in 2 minutes early on, and then still played through the rest of the half. I was like, really, bro? You went down, got like 3 minutes of treatment on the field. First of all, take him off the field and get treatment on the side, and then like 5 seconds later, back down again. It's like, bro, get gone.
Not the best look there. But I mean, hey, regardless of that, the Kickers walk away with a win, which is greatly needed. And also, oblivious to me, I didn't know the league was making this a rivalry, which is not.
Were they?
Yeah, like they did like this montage of like the best goals in this game in this series between us and Union Omaha, and they were like, rivals meet again on the pitch, and everyone was just like, we're rivals. Like, no. It's great games between us, but we're not rivals at all.
I mean, they left out all the goals from the big comeback in 22 that basically won us the new league title. That was a fun one. I mean, they weren't like fancy goals or anything, but I mean, 90th minute winner penalty winner in there.
Yeah,
you got to.
I'm trying to think. Is that also? Is that maybe it's not? Maybe it's 2020. Is that the year Vaughn scored that header? 2020
was a Vaughn. I was at that one.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was a fun one. Yeah, I mean, there has been some fun moments in this game. There has been. I'm not gonna lie, but call it a rivalry. Yeah, let's. I don't like the league try to make their own rivalries.
That has nothing to do with us. Did you see the latest completely contrived USL rivalry?
Oh, between Rhode Island and Charleston?
Yeah, the Breeze Cup for reasons I don't totally get.
Yeah. Oh, outside of, I think both teams has a sponsorship with Breeze. That's it.
They wish they could be the Bonsecours Cup.
The long-standing Bonsecours Cup with the health insurance company that nobody in the city particularly likes.
I don't see what it has to do with anything with anything.
No, it has nothing to do with anything. So what was I saying before? Oh yeah, Richmond gets a win. Totally forgot that for a second. Yeah, Richmond gets a win. We're and look, in this league, you get a win, it automatically shoots you up the table, right? We go from holding up the bottom of the table with Corpus Christi to still out of the playoffs, but now we're kind of like slightly breathing above water with our nose. The rest of our head is still submerged, but we're like here. Like we're like right there. You know,
I mean, that's a little. I feel like that's a little dramatic for 5 games into the league season.
Hey, that like I told you before we started this podcast, I was in a dark place. If we would have lost this game to Union Omaha,
But we didn't.
I know. I was just prepared to be in a dark place. Just
We didn't lose though, and let's. I'm a little peeved that we got a cup match next because I just feel like that's
it was getting cut out.
Yeah, I feel like momentum's high, and I don't know, is that really what we want to use it on? But after that, Westchester, Greenville, Chattanooga.
I mean, the schedule does look. The schedule open up. Yeah, it does become a lot more favorable, and this is something like we have talked about. And I have to remind myself, I'm the one who even made it a point of saying, like, if you look at this schedule, right, the first what 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 games are against teams who were in the playoffs. It may be 5 out of 5 because you count AV so they were very close. And
not only that, look at the standings right now. There's 4 teams so far that have 10 or more points. We've played them all.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and I guess just some of it was you pound the frustration of how limited this team was to injuries, also cope with a lack of attack or, desperate lack of attack. And then the Spokane game where all of that just compounded and we got played off the field. I was not in the right headspace because I am the optimistic one, but I just wasn't feeling optimistic. I do feel now. I feel better. And granted, it's only one game, and this team still has things they need to work on, like set pieces. They have to desperately get better at set pieces. Not every ball needs to go to the back post.
Oh, most of them don't. I feel like most of them don't make it past the first guy.
Or that. Well, I feel like they do, but the first guy is at the back post, and then it gets headed back out. And I think, set pieces is still something that hinges on. I think this team still has to do a better job of just getting on the ball and kind of slowing games down a little bit. You can still play quick, right? But not be in haste, not make the mistakes or limit the mistakes. And then just overall get healthy. Like, it'd be great to get Sean back in there. I think Ethan was at training. I'm not sure that was him, but just get healthy and just have the players that are supposed to be, the glue pieces stay in form and still be very involved. And I mean, Matt, you were mentioning like the rest of our schedule does open up. We got Westchester, we got Greenville, we got Chattanooga, Boise, back to back before we take a break on June 10th. I'm just looking straight at the league, so I'm not looking at the overall. But like, there's a break there in the league, and so we got 5 games coming up. And you hope like in those 5 games, those are the games where we can make up those points that we lost out on in the first 5 games of the season.
Yeah, and it's true round robin this year, so
yeah,
we get everybody twice. Arguments can be made, and we can't prove anything now because it's just guesswork. But got to think, not having to deal with some of the not having to go back to Knoxville again, not having to go back to Spokane, again, can't hurt to have those games out of the way.
No, and this is the other thing too. We are done with the West Coast by June 10th.
Yeah,
which is great for us. Like that is fantastic to have this team be done with the West Coast. And well, no, they still have to go to Omaha. Because I was going to say they played.
There ain't nothing coast about Omaha.
Well, no. I was saying like we don't have to cross the Mississippi again, but I forgot we still have Madison. What side of Fort Wayne is on? Fort Wayne, right? I think
Fort Wayne's this side. Madison's actually this side.
So yeah, then it would be Omaha,
Corpus
Christi.
Yeah,
and then I mean outside of that, like that's June 13th, and then you got one more trip which is Omaha, and that's not till I'm looking right now. Hold on. That's August 16th. That would be our last time going across the Mississippi. After that, they are strictly East Coast. And even, I think, hold on, because my finger just double checked. I think to end out the season, the last 4 games, they stay they stay like right on the coast. They go to Westchester, home against Charlotte, go up to Jersey, go up to New York again to play the Cosmos, and then end the season at home against One Knox. So I mean, the schedule works out well for them. Like just travel wise, which is a huge thing. To get that West Coast part of the trip out the way now, and you, I mean, this is definitely looking at the line. You avoid some of the bigger juggernauts. I think it's great. Like starting in September, you play Fort Wayne, Chattanooga, Westchester, like I said, Charlotte, Cosmos, and One Knox. Maybe Charlotte and One Knox are going to be the 2 playoff teams. Chattanooga might be in the mix. I don't know about Westchester or Cosmos. Those are toss-ups. Fort Wayne looks like a weaker side right now. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows?
One game at a time, but
yeah, we're definitely one game.
Got to get into the Useless Cup first.
Yeah, Matt, I have a little piece of trivia for you, sir. Can you name?
You know I'm down.
All right. I know you are. Let me pull it up. Let me make sure we got it ready. If you didn't know, folks, this is the aforementioned Jägermeister Cup, which is now what, the Penix Tire Cup?
Prinks Tire, which I don't even know what tier of tire manufacturer that is, but
I don't know either.
One of the big boys, I can tell you that.
No, I could not tell you. All right. So, Matt, piece of trivia for you. Can you name the Richmond Kickers' last win in this competition and the goal scorers?
Okay. Wasn't last year, so it was Spokane.
Okay.
Who would have scored in that game? That's 24. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to talk out loud because dead air while somebody thinks is just brilliant podcasting. 24. So let's see here. All right. I know so that was the Sneddon debut game. I know that much.
Yes, that was the Sneddon debut game.
Let's see here. That's right around the time when Emmy and Niels went to the bench and then the team started playing better. So I'm thinking it's not them. Who else? Joao.
He had an assist in this game, but he didn't score.
He scored the next game, and I knew he scored in bunches for us. Like he would just do nothing for forever and then score like 3 games in a row and then go back to nothing. Yeah. So I thought could have been him.
Landon Johnson also had an assist in this game.
All right. Yeah, I knew it wasn't him because his first goal was last year. I don't think. No, he was already gone. He wasn't on the team anymore. Like, oh, why can't I think of who's even a viable player for this team at that point? Bill Hart?
No, not Bill Hart.
Because he got broken the next game.
Do you want me to give you an assist?
No, but yes.
Okay. Let's see.
Any of them defenders?
No. These were so this one guy, he played as an attacker he played as a striker this game. He was Mr. O everything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was your Chandler couldn't stop scoring goals.
Yeah. He scored 2 in this game, and then there's one more.
I don't know. I remember the game happening, and I could not tell you the first thing about anyone other than Sneddon debuted.
Justin Suko scored the
Oh, wow.
winner.
Yeah, wouldn't have got there.
Yep, scored the winner 88th minute. Played 50 times for the played not 50, played 49 times for the Kickers overall.
Okay.
Chandler scored twice, the 6th minute and the 34th minute, and then Spokane, Gonzalez in the 46th, and Miller in the 67th. That's the last win we have in this competition. Obviously, like you said, last year we went 0 for 4 in this cup. Felt like a real throwaway tournament last year, just how things were going.
Yeah. Well, how are you? What are you thinking about this year?
I was just about to ask you the same thing. I honestly, I walk into this year feeling a little different, just because based on who we play. Like, I think last year, it felt as if because last year, let me just pull it over real quick. Like after the Louisville 4-1, it was kind of just like, well, really after the North Carolina 1-0 loss, it was just like, all right, whatever. Like, toss this away, call it a day, and let's, walk away from it. And the Louisville game was the same way because that was 4-1, but I mean Louisville was just a different breed. Like they were just different beasts. This year, I mean, we still played 2 USL League One teams, but I felt like it's 2 teams that we're facing in Charlotte and Greenville. And then you obviously got 2 rivalry games in Charleston and Loudoun. So I would say for Proud alone, like I want the Kickers to turn up for it. But as far as advancing and going far, I don't put that much stock on it.
Yeah, for me, I think if there's guys who need the rest,
yeah,
go ahead and rest them right now because like you're kind of making reference to, it's going to be a big ask to get out of the group, just the way that this thing's structured. I think it's only the first place teams get out, and in a this 6-team group where 3 of them are pretty or expected to be pretty good championship level sides. It's going to be a lift to do that. So I think having Charlotte first at home gives you the opportunity, if you want to take a punt at it, you can do that right here. And if you get the win, you can go for it. But if it's anything other than a win, I think you can kind of not close up shop because you don't want to just like punt on games later on, but it becomes a decidedly B competition for you instead.
Yeah,
right? I don't see any way out of this group without beating Charlotte.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I think our group is significantly tough with who we have in it. I mean, you have Charleston, who they were at USL semifinals last year, right?
I don't remember when they got knocked out, but ever since Ben Pierman got there as a coach, they've been pretty consistently like top 2, top 3 in the Eastern Division.
Pittsburgh won it last year. Greenville, we know how Greenville is. They're always a hard beat. Charlotte is another hard beat. I mean, it's also weird too because of where you play these teams at. Like Charleston and Loudoun are 2 games that like fans themselves. Like I think the Charleston game, older fans, like no offense, Matt, but like your generation fan one, right? Like that game's going to be more to you than someone such as like Kate, who didn't see that. But like the Richmond versus Loudoun game is going to be more to Kate than it would probably you because that is the that's the rival right now. That's the team who we're going after right now, right? So that's weird. And then obviously, like, your USL League One teams, you want to do well against them because these are teams who you're competing against. But like you said, you also have the other element of, like, okay, is this where I can rest a Darwin and play play Landon, right?
Yeah.
Can I sit Kirkland and give Dorado a start? Can I, sit Amar and play O'Malley.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, I
things
think,
like that.
I think this is all right, Daniel Moore, time to show what you got.
Right. You know, James Stanton, does he get a start here over Jan Flynn?
I think he has to, right? Because if you're not starting him here, where are you starting him?
I mean, that's true. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Once again, I will say this again. Cup competitions are great because there's a way to test the depth of your team, and if you go far, you feel great. I'm not so much worried about the result in this. I'm just more so worried about how we play. Like if we come out against Charlotte and we play the same way, or not the same way, with the same intensity and the same go after it as we did against Junior Omaha, and say this team loses on pins. Okay, cool. I can be fine with that. Right? I might be upset because of the result and I want the Kickers to win, as all of us do, but I can be fine walking away. What I don't want to see is us play well. And then what happened to us last year is we go in this up and down thing. We play well, then we lose. We play well, then we lose. We lose, lose, win, right? I want to see us start kind of building momentum and start like stringing together good performances so we have something to build on.
Right. And that's why I just hate that this game is now, because I want to be able to build on that Omaha performance, but at the same time, I crap on this competition, constantly. I call it useless cup. Like,
I mean, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to, just be like, man, like it feels like, how can I put this? It feels like the League's Cup in England. Like I imagine this is how Premier League teams feel about the League's Cup.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Like would it be great for the Kickers to advance? Yes, I think, and you probably share these same expectations. I think expectations are going to be for this competition is one, don't finish bottom of the table, win at least one game, and get some quality minutes for the depth in this team.
Yeah, I think your third point's really the point one for me. Like,
yeah. I mean, you can interchange.
It'd be great if we went on Saturday. Yeah, go for it. Like, take your swing at Charleston, coming up. But like I said, if we don't win on Saturday, you can kind of, build these weeks in as quasi bye weeks for key guys who might need that little bit of extra time to be able to get right for 3 real games that matter more.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I want to see James no matter what in goal. I'm fine with it if we put a first choice out otherwise, because part of this might just be getting guys building up fitness so they can, go deeper into the league games. And then we see what happens.
Right. I think, yeah, my bad. I think there are certain guys that I'm cool. Like if Darren rolls out this 11 on Saturday, are you cool giving Kirkland a rest and starting Dorado?
Yeah, no problem there.
Okay. So we can agree on that. Darwin.
I mean, if it happens, I don't mind it. Like he's one of those guys where, if we want to go for it, like almost by definition, he has to be on the field if we're going for it.
All right. Niels.
Yeah, I think he might be, one of the key descriptors of playing to build fitness.
Okay. Yeah.
If he's banged up a little bit, no, I'd rather him not, be at risk. But, we haven't seen him go 90 yet, so start to build towards that.
Yeah. I'm cool with him being on a minutes restriction. Like 65, 70 minutes. I'm cool with that. Panholzer. And I'm just pulling from the last starting 11.
Sure. Like I said, I'm fine with it being the first 11 if that's the way we want to go with it.
Yeah. I think the only change I would make is that right side. Just Panholzer, put in Landon, Dan Moore at right back, and then Stanton and goal. And see how you go.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm cool with everything else. I just want to see, like I said, I want to see that same intensity and go after it. and everything like that. And I'm pretty sure it's still going to be a good crowd because, I mean, what this game was at almost 4K. Wednesday was at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might get another 4.5 out there. So, I mean, hey, I know we was talking to someone about it at the tailgate, but just like the floor where this team is at, like attendance wise, like we're excuse my language, bitching and complaining about 3.5. It's being like that's not good enough. We're like 2018, 2019, we were begging for like 2.5.
Oh, I remember a time when like 3K would be, oh my gosh, amazing, golden.
Right. Anytime this team doesn't hit 5, it's the team's not doing good enough.
Right. So
but I
it's
mean, hey,
good.
that's a good
Expectations
thing.
raised.
Yeah, right. That's a good thing. Expectations are there, so you can't complain about that. Game is Saturday, another 6 o'clock start, which is weird. So make sure you're there early. I don't think there's anything on the weekend that I can specifically remember, but hey, that's besides the point. Matt, anything else from you, my good man, before we wrap this up? And
Yeah, I got a
those 3
bone to
points.
pick with the team right here.
Okay.
So they made a huge scene about Dakota Barthen, 100th cap. What kind of mathematics are they trying to pull? They're pulling weird ass USL logic. Because
he's
that
on
man
123.
Yeah. Well, I realized what they were doing. They're only counting official USL League One games. They're forgetting the whole fact that Open Cup exists. They're forgetting the fact that the Useless Cup exists and was a lot of games for a couple of those seasons. Because if they put it up on the stands, I was like, this dude's been here since 22. Like, I don't remember him being hurt for that much of the time. Like, he has to be over 100 by now. It's like we had Simon last year. Get recognized for 100. I'm like, there's no way Dak is that far behind Simon because Simon didn't play a ton in 22.
Yeah, no. I mean, the funny thing is, Dak is he's closer to 150. He's almost at 150.
Yeah, they're whitewashing their own history. Why are they doing this?
I
know why they're doing this. It's because they're getting lazy as hell and relying on AI. Did you read the preview for the Columbus game on the website?
No, I didn't.
It was hot garbage.
Oh.
And Camp and the whole team should be ashamed of themselves for putting that on a website. The very first line said, kicker, prepare for a Columbus battle. It didn't even say kickers. It said kicker.
I should laugh at this. Let me go pull this up. Oh, my kicker.
It's absolutely pathetic.
I mean, hey, look, as someone who uses AI down and then for making these lesson plans as a teacher, because really, who has time to lesson plan? I will always
every teacher
advise
before 2023.
Yeah, I will always advise go back and review it because they will not get stuff right, and you need to make sure that it is correct. Let me see. This cannot say just kicker. Oh, they must have changed it because now it said the Richmond Kickers welcome MLS at Columbus Crew City Stadium for the Lamar Hunt Open Cup. So they must have changed.
A screen grab of it because it was bad.
Well, I will say this. Also, it's been a while since I've even looked at this because the style of how they do these is a lot different. They look nice. Yeah. Okay.
Style of how they do them, or style of how their good friend Claude does them.
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely.
Look, they've been caught out and called out for some of this, in the past too. Thinking back to last year with some of these Ivy announcements where players' names were just blatantly spelled wrong and everything.
Yeah.
They have to do better than that if they want to be taken seriously as an organization.
Yeah, like definitely. Don't be afraid to proofread it. Do not be afraid to proofread it. Also,
I mean, great for Dak for being a long-serving member, but we all know that was not your 100th game.
Yeah, no. I mean, hey, if we're just counting the league, then okay, cool. Hey, more power to you. But yeah, I mean, Dak's probably going to get another jersey at the end of the year for 150.
So
yeah. So other thing I wanted to bring up, World Cup is happening there. The club just announced that they are doing watch parties because tickets are expensive. So if you want to hang out with friends and whatnot, you can do so at City Stadium. I haven't worked out the dates on these. I don't think any of these overlap with the Kickers game. I don't think so. Let me see.
I don't think so. I can't imagine they'd be that foolish to do that.
Yeah, I mean, now I know like MLS isn't playing during the World Cup at all. I know they're not. And there was like some weird conversation about it on Blue Sky about like should all USL leagues stop? And my thing is like if my league's not impacted by players missing, like a large pool of players missing because of the tournament, then absolutely not. Like why would I stop my league for when something doesn't impact me?
Yeah, so June 20th, we play Fort Wayne at home. That could get in the way of like one game.
No, because the US plays on the 19th.
Right. Well, we don't overlap with the US games unless we get into the knockout rounds and then deal with it.
Yeah. But I mean, as of right now, that's 2 bad starts. I mean, there's a 9:00 game in there, so that'd be pretty cool to do. You got a 3:00 game and then a 10:00 game. Jesus, woo, that's my bedtime.
West Coast.
West Coast. And that's right after we play Portland. Oh, okay. And what was the other one? The 12th. Right before we play Corpus Christi. So, yeah, hey, works out well for the Kickers. There's a game. There's a Kickers game paired with each game there. So, spend more time in City Stadium, spend some more money. And then, it'd be pretty cool to do. Matt, I know you're going to the World Cup. Are you going to spend any time in City Stadium watching a game or two?
I mean, if it's convenient, maybe. But,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't care about the World Cup because Jamaica broke my heart, so I don't care about it.
Yeah, who could have seen that one coming?
Let's not do that, Matt. Let's not do that. But yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to do hang out there at City Stadium. Also, shout out to something cool that happened on the weekend. Shout out to Nick Simmons and Cam Miller. Cam, I think this might have been her professional debut for San Diego Wave. No, Bay FC. Yeah, Bay FC. Shouts out to her. She came on the field for them. And also Nick Simmons made his MLS debut for FC Dallas as well. So huge shouts out to them. And Cam, she played for Jamaica this weekend against I forget who it was. I think we played Guinea. But yeah. Shouts out to them. Kickers Pipeline is alive and well. All right, Matt, that's about it. Anything else for you, my good man? This is the longest show we've done this year. And that's what happens when we win games. We talk about it, and also 2 games of the week.
No, I mean, get ready for the next one. Keep the good times rolling.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. As listeners, as always, if you haven't, please make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We can't do this show without you. So if you want to and feel it in your heart, you can donate over at ko-fi.com/RiverCity93 or go to our website and hit the donate link is there. Much as a cup of coffee, you keep the lights on, you help us with recording equipment, giving you all the best all below there. So with all that being said, for Matt, myself, and the rest of the crew, we will holler at you guys next week where hopefully we're talking about another Kickers win. And if not, we're talking about how great this team has been playing so far. But with all that being said, be easy and be